Hello, good morning. This is Ted from The Devil's in the Detail, and today I thought I'd just have a little chat about the Zagato Aston Martin that we've been doing. Obviously you've been watching the other videos, but I thought I'd explain how it ended up having really a full concourse preparation of the paintwork. It didn't really come in to have this extensive polishing. To the customer, it looked fine as it was, and it was in for an MOT at Peter's, a couple of doors away from me, and when it went up in the air, obviously we could see the scratches and whatnot. When I pointed them out to the customer, he asked if I could remove them. Well, we agreed. He's not really into detailing, so he doesn't really understand what detailing was. So basically, I looked at it in a sympathetic way, and I put a price on removing the swirls, because obviously it doesn't follow a safe washing regime like we would. He doesn't own a jet washer or anything like that, so obviously it's not the best washing in the world. So we negotiated a price which we was both happy with, but as you know by following my page and my work, I do quite a few Aston Martins, and I have a lot of Aston Martin owners that come down and have maintenance washes and have the cars looked after. So obviously with this car here, would they come in to see the car, talk about the car. This car's only got 1,700 miles on it from new, and it's probably one of the lowest mileage Zagatos in the world to start with. And although I'd already started polishing the bonnet, and I'd got it to a nice level, because I wouldn't turn anything out that wasn't nice. But I started getting a couple of people say, look, this is an opportunity to possibly create, the best DB7 Zagato in the world, possibly. And that sort of seed was planted in my head. And, you do think about what you're going to earn out of the job and how long it's going to take. And, all these factors have to come into it. But, those that know me know that it isn't all about the money. It's about the quality of work I can turn out. I'm 62 years old now. I've probably gained as much experience as I'm ever going to gain, to be able to create something nice. And, with the seed planted, I sort of thought, well, I've got the car anyway for as long as I want the car. The owner was moving home and wanted time to set up his new house, and the garage is ready for the car. And so I agreed that even when it was done, I would store it for him for a while. So I knew I had the car for as long as, I wanted. And, there was 2 or 3 people came in, and they all more or less were saying the same thing. I'd just finished doing the TVR, which really looked spectacular when it was finished. And, the comments were, well, you could easily get that, to that sort of standard. The colour doesn't really show off the amount of gloss that this now has. But if it was on black, it would be the same as a TVR. I've spent 70 hours doing this, and probably went about it in the wrong way, and I'm sure some people are going to go, why? You know what I mean? But other than the bonnet, the rest of the car I ended up doing just using a 3-inch orbital mop. I used microfiber, Maguire's microfibers on the 6-inch polisher on the bonnet. I used the cutting one and the finishing one, as I showed earlier in some of the videos. Then I went over onto foam pads. I went to a medium foam still on the orbital. I decided I wasn't going to do any rotary work on this. I wanted to prove that you can get a really good finish with orbital polishers, because I keep being asked if I'll give lessons in rotaries, when really speaking you don't really need to use a rotary anymore, you know, to create a good finish if you understand the products that are available to use. So I use Menzerner polishes, as you know, all the time, and you know, I've never have a problem, you know, creating really good jobs. I'm not saying for 1 minute that I do the best, but I would imagine that the finished articles are up there with the best. You know, I have won enough concours events to know that my work is good enough. So I went over the rest of the car using a 3-inch orbital. It sounds daft, but I wanted to really work to a meticulous finish. I wet sanded out lots of scratches. I've got little nibbers to take out tiny defects, and there were defects in the paint from the factory. At one point I actually think it was an eyelash that I found in the lacquer, and flatted that out, and you know, little lumps that from the factory. And those that do these cars, they know that there's lots and lots of defects from the manufacturers in these cars. So, you know, once the seed had been planted, that was it for me, you know. And then I have had other comments then, you know, there's the other side of the coin where people say, well, if you're not going to get paid for it, why do you do it? Well, I suppose we're not busy. You know, with the COVID and everything else, it's been quiet. And I have no problem, you know, with putting time into something. I mean, if I wasn't working and polishing, I've still got to stand here in the hope that people turn up for quotes for work. So, you know, if I'm here, I might as well be doing something. And to me, you know, this has been like, I would imagine, you know, you wouldn't say to a painter who was an artist that was painting a picture that, you know, when you run out of money time-wise, stop the picture. The artist just finishes the picture and then he prices it according to his time he's put in. Well, I'd already quoted on the job, and I'm not going to ring the customer up and say, look, I'm going to do this, that and the other, and it's going to cost you X number of pounds more, because he's not going to come again if he thinks that the price is going to keep going up. And so, you know, I've put in, you know, I've probably got paid for 25, 30 hours work, and I've done 70. But the chap owns other cars as well, and he's a first time customer to any sort of detailing, and my hope is that, you know, he will physically be able to see what we can do. Also with this job, Aston Martin refused to try and clean the buffalo leather interior. I'll show you the interior and some of the bits, you know, I'll do another video in a bit to finish off this car. I know people get fed up of seeing the same thing, but the buffalo hide interior is pretty much like nubuck and suede. When you start cleaning it, it just absorbs the water. Leather, when you clean it, that gets wet, but it doesn't go like a sponge and soak it all up and change colour. This, being a creamy interior, as soon as I touched it with the cleaner, and I was using nubuck cleaner, so, you know, the mildest stuff that I could buy. I have cleaned buffalo before, and I knew it was going to be a pain, and it has been a pain, because once it goes wet, it goes, you know, like a Timberland boot. If you get it wet, it just goes dark, and you can't tell whether you've got the dirt out till it dries. So you have to do a section, let it dry, and then do it again until you feel that you've got it clean enough. So it's a long job. And I mean, that's why Aston Martin didn't want to touch it, because really it's a specialised cleaning job. I'll show you the interior in a bit more detail in the video after, but the paintwork, obviously, you know, I spent 70 hours, and the owner had says to me, just put a sealant on it when you're done, because it's only going in the garage and goes out to the occasional show. Well, once I got it to this level, you know, the only thing I've asked the owner to do is pay for the ceramics. I haven't charged him to put them on, I just pay for them. And because I felt that he has no way on the planet he was going to be able to clean this without marking it. So I thought I'd just explain, you know, the part of the reasons that, you know, I get myself involved in these jobs where I end up doing loads more work. And to be fair, I do it on every single job. It doesn't matter what you come in for, you always get something more. It's just the way I am, and that's on me. You know, it's to satisfy me, myself. In this case, you know, and the TVR and many other cars, I like to look at it like a piece of art. You know, you've created something that has got a wow factor, and, you know, it just happens that I can't paint, I can't play a guitar or do anything like that, but I can polish. So, you know, I like to show off what I can do. So I thought I'd just take the time to explain, you know, part of the things that, you know, go through my head. Of course, you know, somebody plants a seed in it, and, you know, I've got OCD anyway, so it just makes it worse, because then I think about it, and then before you know it, I've got to do it. So I'm going to go around the car in a second, show, you know, on the video a bit of the interior and just the final look of the car. All the ceramics are on, they're all cured. The car is, I'm arranging for a covered trailer to take the car back to the owner, and but it can't leave here until the owner's come and viewed it and okayed it. So I'm waiting for him to come and have a look, and, you know, obviously I've got no doubt that, you know, he's not going to find any faults, so it's just one of them. But, you know, it's a great car. I'm sure, you know, in 10 or 20 years time it'd probably be worth about £1 million. At the moment they're probably worth somewhere between 300 and 500,000. I'm not really sure the way the market is, but with one that's got like museum mileage and now in this condition, it is as new, if not better than new. So, you know, how do you value that? I mean, the customer probably doesn't value it in that way at all. He just loves the car and he loves looking at it, and occasionally takes it out. But you know, we all value things differently, and if you can afford to have nice things around you, then why not? So, like I say, this will probably be the last video in the series on this car, and I hope that I get other special cars in. I mean, you know, how many people get to polish a DB7 Zagato? You know, with only 99 of them ever made, and only 56 in right-hand drive, I'll probably never do one again. So, you know, that was the other reason why I thought, if I don't do it on this one, I'm not going to get the opportunity again. So there we have it. I'm not going to keep droning on about it, but if you've been watching the videos, you know, I really do appreciate the feedback and the conversation that it instills, and the questions and the curiosity. And obviously on the way I try and sort of explain what I'm doing. I probably could do it a lot better. My skill is not in the camera and how to film, and I don't script anything. Probably something I need to get better at, but I hope you've enjoyed them anyway. And for those you that watch YouTube and see these on, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button and the like button, because it helps our channel grow in views. And obviously we always want more work to do, you know, and I want to do a lot more work like this, you know, before the day that I retire. I think I'll be working until I fall over anyway, but also wanted to say, it doesn't matter whether it's a Ford Fiesta or something like this. If you're passionate about your car, I'll be passionate about the car, because when you're working on a panel, it doesn't really matter what the panel's attached to. If you want that sort of finish, you can have it. You know, it just does cost more because it's more labour. But it doesn't make any difference to me. I don't just want to see supercars in here. I like to do the daily drivers and, you know, the younger generation that, you know, can't afford cars like this, but they still take pride in the car. I know I did when I was young. You know, you thought you was the bee's knees if you had something with wide wheels on and it looked a bit different. And, you know, we can make the paintwork look better. And, you know, come and see us and we'll always look after you. Well, thanks for watching and putting up with me. And hopefully there'll be a few more videos to come in the future. We've just got to wait to see what turns up at the door. So thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Right, let's have a look at the interior of the car. And there's the plaque, number 30 of 99. And this is the troublesome interior. It doesn't look the same as leather. You know, it has got a slight different mottle to the leather. Let's see if I can get this. I presume that there's some luggage that goes with this car. There's no rear seats, as you can see, and it's quite beautiful the way that it's been trimmed. Really, really nice car. The green leather dash and steering wheel with the wood in. I've had to put a cover on the gear stick because the buffalo just soaks the oils out of your skin and marks it. You know, it has been a bit of a pain, to be honest, to try and clean it to, you know, a reasonable standard without, you know, taking any of the colour out, because that's the worst thing is, you know, the colour is very sensitive on the interior. It's got no protection like leather has from the factory. It's just like a raw hide. But it certainly is a beautiful thing. You know, I can understand why the owner puts it in his garage and then spends his time just looking at it. You know, it's such an unusual shape. Obviously, you know, the bubble glass and the bubble roof, which I've pointed out before. Bigger grille than a standard car, and with the vents underneath. I bet it looks proper aggressive in your rear view mirror when you see this coming behind you. So there we are. It's been an emotional job, you know, with some challenges to meet, and particularly a challenge for myself, brought on by some of the people who frequent our premises. But that was probably right to plant the seed in the first place, because it does look spectacular. Okay, there we have it, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.